Another day has come, another Tuesday, June 28th, 2022, right here in the Issues Room, our 70th edition. My name is Volcano Shelton, coming your way live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with Moses Sandy coming all the way from Delaware. Welcome to the 70th edition. You, our viewers all over the world, we welcome you Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also 11 p.m. in Liberia in the Greenwich Mean Time Zone. And a repeat of our broadcast is heard on ABC Radio 105.1 FM in Monrovia. Moses, 70th edition. We're back.
Yes. Yes. We're making progress. And it's good to be back
And
in the
interesting that we could have gone further had we not had that shut time
yeah,
off
the
the air.
technical glitch we had. Yeah. But like I was saying, we're making progress and it is pleasing to be back, especially at a time like this, with the outcome of the elections in Lofa. This is the news that we have come to break. So Volcano, it's always a pleasure teaming up with you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Moses. Good to
Hmm.
be in the house.
Sure.
Tonight we anticipate having our correspondent um, Abraham Kollie. He's all the way out there in the Lofa County. He's been covering, and I try to reach out to him, but sometimes the way technology works, especially in third world countries, it can be a killer.
Hmm.
So I'm waiting to hear from him momentarily, and once that takes place, we should be connecting with him. But he's been covering the elections in Lofa County, so he's more at a vintage point than you and I, who are feeding off from the internet,
Yeah.
what is trending. But equally so, most of the information coming to us is coming from a good place. It's coming with some degree of facts,
Absolutely.
because some credible media institutions and individuals are covering the elections. But what's on your end for trending news?
Well, so far, the top news is the elections, the by-election in Lofa County.
But I think
This
is our topic of discussion.
is the
So,
topic of is
so,
the topic
so.
of discussion, and it's just the news of the days. That's the news that the people want. What
But
I'm
let me
hearing.
just take you. Let me just take you on another
Sure,
curve. Okay.
sure.
So
Hmm.
yesterday I kind of watched a video that came from the Progressive Student Alliance
Hmm.
of the University of Liberia. A group of guys, they presented the leader, and he made his statement regarding the current state of affairs at the University of Liberia. And the guy said that he doesn't think that the people are serious
When he
about.
said that people, who is he talking
He
about?
talking the government, he talking the administration, he talking just the powers that be, to ensure that the university is viable, is able to provide the education necessary. And they talked about how it took them 6 months, and they said they were renovating, but they only painted a building. And when I heard that, it was kind of funny to me. I'm like, 6 months just to paint a building? And how big are the buildings at the university? And this is not more like Fender. We're talking on main campus out there on the Capitol
Yeah,
Hill.
yeah.
But he kind of said that they are planning to take 3,500 students to the executive mansion, and I believe is to meet with President Weah. They want him to be the moderator of whatever they're going to put forth. And if they felt that nothing good came out of it, they're going to proceed to the national legislature. They said they're going to go into session with them. I think they're on their 54th session of the legislature, and they said that they will go in session with them.
Inflation with the
Yeah,
lawmakers.
yeah. They said because the plights are very, very, deplorable in terms of just the whole thing regarding the studies and the way they have not been in school. The other schools are in school, like the universities that are private. They mentioned Stella Maris, AMU, and those other universities that are private. And so the situation is where they are, and they're more um, concerned about what the government will do to get them back, um, in class. Um, they also kind of talked just around the corner of the situation with regards to the current president, Dr. Nelson, and the faculties association about what they're trying to do with regards to what the president had mentioned, that they couldn't have, two jobs and getting paid from the same government coffers, particularly as public servants. And they're still having the dialogue to determine, um, you know, whether those professors or teachers or instructors will be able to stay in dual capacity. Right now, we're still awaiting Moses to return. Don't know what happened. He just abruptly went off the air. But again, it's kind of going, um, you know, crazy with this university and the stories behind the university. So it's our hope that they will be able to resolve this matter. But from what, and I talked to a few university students yesterday. They said the school they opened yesterday, and I'm like, but how will you guys open when a group of students saying that the university is not reopened? And one of the students said they were planning their class. So, they were planning their classes, and they felt that even though a lot of people not there, but the university is officially open for business.
Yes, I also saw a press release to that effect from the university announcing the reopening of the university as of yesterday. The conflict involving some of the professors accused of double dipping in the university administration. It's my understanding that the Council of Churches intervened and that matter is being amicably resolved. What I read is that the professors accused of double dipping as a means of resolving the problem for now. The university administration, I think, is looking the other way. They continue to maintain them on the payroll. Why this crisis is being resolved? But Volcano, that's one of those saddest things about our country. People who are training future leaders, they themselves are engaging in criminal activities, and somebody intends to take corrective measures, and they come, pounding their chest that hey, if you do this, this is what we're going to do. How do you violate the code of conduct of the country? You literally, you work in two places, and the same government is paying you twice. The administration raises a concern about it. The government raises a concern about it. And you want to what? Put up a fight. I stand with the university administration.
But
I
also,
think these
I want you to,
professors need to go.
but that's not happening because I'm hearing the mitigating parties are saying that they should hold on yet and
Yeah,
they
go
continue
back
to
to
push the
status
matter.
quo. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but these students, they were very loud. They were very loud. They talked about, how the government officials and these guys are sending their kids to private schools, the private universities and abroad, while they are
Hmm.
left in limbo, and they're not getting the quality of education.
That's right.
They, there's constant interruption, in the studies. Moses, you go to the University of Liberia, you stay there 10, 15 years before you get a
Man,
bachelor's
that's
degree.
it, man.
You
It's
know,
sad. It's sad.
10, 15 years before you get
Mhm.
a bachelor's degree, you're already old.
Of course.
And a
It's an
bachelor's
age
degree
old problem.
today is the equivalent of high school paper.
Of course. It's an age old
You know,
problem at the University of Liberia. We all saw that. And then George Weah came and just exacerbated the situation at the university. That spontaneous decision that he made, he woke up one morning, I don't know whether he was under the influence of something. He looked at the blue sky and say, hey, he declared free, university education. How do you declare free university education when you do not have the funding to support the work of the university? That's one of those challenges that are killing the University of Liberia and other, publicly funded community colleges and Tottenham University in Liberia, because George Weah made a very poor decision. Now they don't have the money to support this institution for Canada. This has become a significant impediment to learning at this institution. You take 6 months to paint one building, and for Canada, the university took what, 6 months to paint one building? You and
But
I
that's what I'm
know.
saying. So I mean, that's what the guy is saying, and it's sad. But when you think about it, when you look at the circumstance by which these public schools now are being run as a result of the so-called free, that
Yeah,
in itself is impossible. Liberia, as a country, is not doing anything in its economy. We're not exporting. We're not doing anything. We're only depending on little aids here and there and high taxation on the ordinary people. That's what the government is running on. The low handouts people are giving here and there. They go here, they cut low deals, and they get that money and they pocket it. The guys are saying that they can sit around and legislators can put into bill or law to get $30,000 in their pockets, fuel, and all the amenities. But the very school that some of them went to, they don't even care.
they don't. They don't.
And I'll tell you the truth. Under no circumstance can free education work in Liberia. Under no circumstance. It's not possible.
Because
The economy is not strengthened enough
to
to take
support
care of
it,
that. Then the corruption in the country is so pervasive that it's impossible.
it's
It is
impossible.
absolutely, even your entrance into the university is not based on the merit system.
And now it's about who knows you and how
Yeah,
much
your
you can
entrance
put
into the
forth.
university.
How much you can put forth.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and
it's a serious problem.
it's a serious challenge. And you told me, Volcano, if you why we say free college education cannot work in Liberia, to train, university graduates, you need people with what, higher education to do that. So a Volcano Shelton will spend $200,000 going to school. Will go to Liberia and work for $1,000 a month. Does that add up? Do
Yeah,
you
because
expect me? Do you expect me with thousands of dollars student loans and go back to the university and go work for $500 a month?
they say that the sacrifice you make.
Oh no, it doesn't. The first law of
Yeah,
nature is
look,
what?
but hold on.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, but hold on now. The sacrifice you Moses volcano should make, but those men that are in the house there, they can make that sacrifice.
They can't.
They want 30 G, 30 G.
Yeah,
They want
yeah.
900 gallons of gasoline and fuel
A few,
separately.
and that
And they
government
only
car
driving
as well.
less
Oh.
than 10 miles around the Morovia belt where
Mhm.
they're going around the place. So, I mean, the person who will leave the good job to go to Liberia and say they're going to sacrifice, that means they didn't have a good job here. To be honest with you, or anywhere in the diaspora,
Mm.
because I would make that sacrifice. I would make
Because
that
yeah,
sacrifice if the people who are in government
yeah, I'm
doing
making
things.
similar sacrifices.
Yes. I can see the man living large. Then I'm the one going stay on the black bull.
Yeah,
I'm burning my own energy, my own time, preparing lesson plan on my own expense,
everything. Yeah,
providing, my own stuff. Then now I'm stranded because I gotta go pay what they call, I mean, do pamphlets to sell.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have to do that.
of course. And when you
All the
do
resources
that,
should be provided.
and when you go do that, making pamphlet to sell to the students, then you
Yeah,
are indirectly undermining the very quality education that you're supposed to be providing. Because
absolutely.
now it is not about whether the students are prepared, it's about who buys the pamphlet. Whoever buys the pamphlet will pass that course. You see that? Volcano, you and I, we went to university. Did you ever remember any professor telling you, say, you have to buy this pamphlet? Was that
Yeah,
ever a part
yeah.
of the
No,
discussion?
no, no. Yeah, there were times we bought pamphlets, but
When I
that,
went to
no,
Temple,
no,
I
no,
didn't buy a pamphlet.
no. I mean, we're in school after the war, during the
No, I'm
post-war.
talking about it. I'm talking about in the United States when we came
Oh,
here
oh
to
no, no.
school.
I thought you were talking about the University of Liberia. Yeah, you gotta say yes. I bought pamphlet at LU when I was at LU.
Yeah, when I was
Post-war
at
LU.
LU, I bought
No, no,
pamphlet, my man.
no, no,
So
not,
look,
no, not in America. Not in
no.
America. You ain't buying no pamphlet. No. Oh, you buying your textbook. You gotta buy a
But
textbook.
then you buy your textbook,
Buy a textbook.
anything you need to do, you go online, and that's it. No
Yeah.
professor tells you, say, my man, come to my office and come see me. No,
Yeah,
you
you
don't
buy
go
a
see no
textbook.
professor.
All right, so Moses, man, listen, we spent some time on this trending news. The
Yeah,
last thing,
yeah,
the under 17 team went to Austria and
yeah.
they won the first game. And after the game, my man, the medic and the other guy disappeared. So that the story right now, it says,
Tell
get
me
on the
something.
people.
It's a disgrace, man. It's a disgrace, and it is laughable. But
But it's not the first time that
yeah,
people,
yeah, but
cut away from high competition. It happened right here. The
mhm,
team left from Liberia, came here to the Olympics in
mhm,
94. Some of the men that
yeah,
caught away.
yeah,
I mean, they always do that stuff.
yeah. When stuff like that happen, may come across as laughable, but the message such action, sends is that these people come from country where they are challenged economically.
Hmm.
Because why would you escape? Hmm? To go to a parking station and be a cleaner there? First thing, you
It
don't have
better.
legal status
Yeah,
in,
it better,
in
my man.
whatever country you do that.
Sometimes you look at you're gonna get paid if you sweeping street, if it's
Yeah,
enough to take care of you and your family compared to
and
what
your family. That's
your
it.
country
Yeah,
can provide you,
it's sad.
and
It's sad.
and that's the situation. But yeah,
It's
let's start this
it's sad.
conversation.
And quickly, this latest story that I came across before just coming online, I was in a conversation with some guy. There's this story that broke that the United Nations, has decided to add Liberia to the list of countries that will get, international food aid. I think that's the meaning. It's like being a welfare recipient. And this is the country where you have the president of the country building mansions for himself. They all living, like you said, people getting $30,000, they're driving SUV. Now your country has to be added to the list of what? Welfare recipients. That's the
and,
meaning.
and that is under normal circumstance because right now Liberia has been normal
Yeah,
since
yeah,
2003.
Liberia is normal. Yeah,
Since 2003, Liberia has
yeah.
been normal.
Mhm.
But
And
these guys have
you
failed.
have been listed as a
You know,
recipient, full recipient. We're not even talking about saying, oh, give the people financial aid, or they say you give them some free food. Man,
and
volcano, man.
the contradiction here, Moses.
Mhm.
We have one of the most greenery nations,
Oh, yeah,
you
in terms
know,
of agriculture.
within the
Mhm.
sub region,
Yeah.
and our soil so fertile. We can grow rice, we can grow cassava, we can grow all
Mhm.
these things,
Yeah.
and
And
we
what are
still
they
can
going to
feed
be giving
ourselves.
you? Our staple is rice,
Hmm.
but they're going to be giving you what? wheat, burger wheat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're so poor, they have to give you free burger wheat to eat. I mean, tell me, Volcano, it's like
And
you and I.
but hold on now, the burger what you're talking about when it comes and then they won't sell it back to the poor people
Oh yeah,
instead of giving it to the people.
oh
You,
yeah. They will start selling it soon. They will put it on the market.
you
They
see,
will put it on the market. Yeah.
the people who they will entrust the service to provide the
Mhm.
service, they'll end up selling the doggone service.
Yeah,
You
they will sell
remember
it.
self, you remember the special
I mean, yeah,
emergency
no,
rifle
yeah.
program.
When the Civil War was on, we
You know
all
how many
ate
people
burger
got
wheat.
rich from that Moses?
Yeah, and other guy, yeah, what a man name, the senator from the former senator from what, Sino County, right? Who would they had herself? They
You
all
talking about
benefited.
Bama Nelson?
Nelson, Senator Nelson, yeah,
Yeah,
they
Bama
all
Nelson.
benefited
Yeah,
from that.
yeah.
So now Liberia has been added to the list that Liberia will be benefiting in terms of burger wheat. They will give you some free burger wheat to feed your people because you can't afford to feed them. It's like you work, but you cannot feed your children. Your neighbors now will have to say, you give your children some food, man. You can't let the children die. Yeah, that's why it implied. No.
Oh God. But man, listen, I don't know what the guys carry in this country, and they want it for 6 more years, oh.
Oh yeah.
And then when you talk these things, they say, "Oh, oh, oh,
You
oh."
hit the man.
What more would you say now? What
Yeah,
more?
you hit the
But listen,
man.
let's pause on this and go to our little Lofa County elections.
Yeah.
The historical background regarding these bi-senatorial elections that took place today.
Hmm.
Everyone knows that in 2020,
Yeah.
Ronnie Samokai was running on the UP ticket for that seat, and he won the seat.
Absolutely.
Uh, and it was alleged that in some quarters, the CDC prior to the elections approached him to go on their ticket
Yeah.
because they had Thomas Fala, the walking ATM, the living ATM, the country's ATM.
And the man took the ATM to Lofa again.
So so they wanted Brownie, and Brownie said he couldn't. He was fine, and he will be confident.
Yeah.
And so he won the seat. And after he wins the seat, then all kinds of legal battles started to come out. How he misappropriated AFL phones. He and his conspirators, the other two guys, should pay this money and blah blah blah. He paid portion of the money as per what he was responsible for. They come back, they say no, everybody got to pay together
Everybody
and
gotta
all of
pay,
that.
yeah.
But I am I responsible for the other people. I've taken care of my part of the load, and it just went down the hill to the point where rather they strip him of his seat,
I see, yeah.
his voting privilege, because this was his right. The people saw the leader in him and gave him the opportunity to serve them in the house. So since 2020 up to today's date, there has been
One
less of,
senator.
that's what I'm saying, less of Lofa's representation
Yeah.
in the Senate.
Hmm.
So they decided to go back, put another 1.2 to 1.3 million dollars in this elections. That money could have been used for something else. Instead of painting LU for 6 months, it could have done a lot, but they take it because they're still hoping that they can get this seat. So what they do, they can't put a candidate because they
Hmm.
don't want to experience what happened to Thomas Fala. So they run behind Councillor Jala,
Councilor Jara,
who
yeah.
is going as independent and supports him. So
Hmm.
then the UP decides to carry the former superintendent, uh, uh,
Galakba
Karakwa
Kotiman.
Katima. And
Hmm.
so Brownie Samuka lifts his hand up and say, the one didn't get to me, you'll give it to him.
They give it to him.
You'll give it to him. So today, the polling centers for the Lofa County senatorial by-election have closed because the time difference right now
Yeah.
we're 7:30, and in Liberia is about what,
For
12:30.
what? No,
Yeah.
11:30
It's
now.
12:30, buddy.
No, that 4 hours
Okay.
difference.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah, you
eleven
started the show
thirty.
at
Yeah,
7. I'm thinking, okay,
yeah.
good. Yeah, you're right. So
And just to support what you're saying, in places like Lofa, where you can hardly find electricity, but now most of the people are sleeping.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyway, all of the polling centers have closed and they started to count the ballots, and
Hmm.
that is throughout the county. So 6 candidates participated in today's elections, and those candidates are Lofa County former Superintendent Galapai Kotimai of the United Party, who said, and former Senator Sumo Kupi of the People's Unification Party (PUP). Others are independent candidates. Councillor Joseph Jala, BN Sama, Momo Saras, and Representative Mariamu Fofana. So in the race, we have two key contenders, right? The
Hmm.
independent Councillor Jala, Momo Saras, and Galapai Kotima. So according to the National Elections Commissioner, or Commission rather, 187 775, so 187,775 people registered as voters for the elections, meaning qualified to vote.
Yeah,
More than 100,000 voters, representing 53% of the registered voter, came from Lower Lofa County. The Upper Lofa County produced more than 87,000, which is about 46% of the registered voters.
yeah,
The by-election is the replacement. We're already gone through that.
yeah.
So, Moses, I
Hmm.
know that we were expecting our correspondent who is on the grounds. I'm not sure if he's reached back to me. Let me see. But from your position,
Hmm.
what is it that is obtaining right now in the county regarding the closure of the of
Oh,
the
the polling
of the
centers.
polling centers, and
Hmm.
now we're counting the ballots. I know
Yeah.
that there are pool washers, right? And so
Mhm.
some of those folks are also in a position to give predictions, not clearly say, "Oh, this person wins," but
Mhm.
predictions, right?
Yes.
So where are
And
we right now?
and and based on what I have followed consistently, and let me begin by saying hats off to Spoon TV. Spoon TV has been helpful to Liberia. The reporters cover the entire election. As I spoke to you, the guys were in Zaza, they were in Vaughan, they were in Vonjama, they were in Foya, the entire Lofa. And just before we came to our broadcast, Spoon TV reported that in Foya district, uh, the UP representative, the former superintendent, Galipa Kotima, took Foya. He won Foya big time. He won with 2,765 votes.
Mm,
What I'm giving you is not the official result. This is what they have gathered so far from the polling centers in Foya. So he won with 2,775, 765 votes. Councillor Jala, who also received the indirect support of the CDC. You saw the kind of work that the ATM, the walking ATM, Thomas Fala, Jefferson Koji, there's a protocol officer to President Weah. What's the name of the lady of Volcano?
Ofinda Bondo.
The Finder. All those people literally relocated to Foya.
the
The
to-
work hours, Yes, the
Okay, so
CDC
stop
work
there.
hours.
Stop there.
Yes,
Stop there quick for me. So I told you the last time we were here that Kev Hassan said that the fact that
yeah,
Braga decided to remain in
yeah,
Lofa sent
yeah.
sent a signal that he was in trouble.
That he was in trouble. Yeah,
So I'm just trying to give
yeah,
you a
and
review.
we said that he was in error.
Yeah, he was in error because they are expanding more. If you have to send Finda, Thomas Fowler,
Finna,
Jefferson
Jefferson
Koji,
Koji.
uh, maybe Akaras Gray,
Yeah,
uh, Colasco,
yeah.
you know,
They
then
did not.
then
And Volcano,
whose
people,
level we are in Morovia?
those people did not understand. Then say, "Oh God." They also made what significant investment in
Financial
4 years.
investment, financial investment,
Of course, they build roads. They installed
lights,
solar panel
electricity.
lights.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, they provided feeding. They provided monetary support. And Galipa defeated Councillor Jara. Councillor Jara got 1,171 votes. Jara came closer to the former superintendent. The former Councillor Jara was followed by another independent candidate referred to as Cyrus Momo. I'm told Cyrus is a businessman,
Yeah. In fact,
but
when I was in
yes,
Liberia, he had an interview.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Volcano, he really underperformed. The German got 54 votes.
That yeah, village. 54 votes. That man village. That Momo town.
Momo,
Momo town got 54.
Momo got 54 votes. Momo.
Sorry, sorry, Momo from Momo town. He got 54
So he
votes.
may got
Oh
54
God.
votes. And guess
Mhm.
what? You know who? Who got a high? I mean, the most defeat? The representative, Marimo.
Oh, okay. The
Eh, no?
lady.
Yeah.
For her to
Marimo
stay in her late
Fofana.
position, she already getting her,
Marimo
but she
Fofana,
want advanced.
the wife of the Minister of Internal Affairs. And this woman being in the legislature since 2001. I mean,
Wow.
since 2011, 2011,
Oh, okay.
when she was elected. In 2017, she was re-elected again as representative. And this time she decided to go big time. How many
Yeah,
votes did she
you
get?
know the salary. Hold on now, Moses. There's a discrepancy in the salary. Representative down, senator
Yeah,
up. More
yeah.
parts,
So she wanted to
more
go
parts.
up.
So she want to advance.
Yeah, and how many votes she got in 4 years? 21.
What her last name again? Hold on, man. What?
She's a Fofana. She's the wife
Oh, okay.
of the Minister of Internal Affairs.
Okay. That for fun
Yeah,
town.
and so the minister did not help his wife. She got 21 votes. Eh, eh, eh.
Yeah.
So far, based on what Spoon has reported, the entire Lofa has fallen for the former superintendent. He has been declared winner in Vonjama. He has been
And this
declared
this is
winner.
not is this coming from the election
Official. It's not
commission?
official. This is
Okay.
just preliminary.
Okay.
But
Okay.
with this, Volcano, one thing that really impressed me today, as I was watching the results coming in, I said to myself, Volcano 2023 will be very competitive. And I think George Weah need to start worrying.
No, but listen, issues room,
Because
we gotta put boots on the ground, my man.
yeah, obviously we're gonna do that. But what I'm saying, Volcano, nowadays it's not like the 80s where when people go to the election, you have to wait for weeks before the results get out. Immediately the poll closes, the people sit right there, the poll watchers sit right there, do the tabulation and announce the result. And before you look, it's on social media. So there's no way to, manipulate it. So as I was watching that, I was saying to myself, George Weah really has to be, troubled by what is happening in Lofa. Because I can tell you 2023 is going to be very competitive. So the CDC has lost a game. with all the investment, the monetary, the moral support they gave for Councillor Jala. Councillor Jala has lost. The former vice president has prevailed. UP has won. You know, I would like to give it to you.
I mean, you know, Emmanuel Jackson said here that money can buy love. So it's almost the same as money can buy a vote.
No.
When people know what they want. I mean, the superintendent led the county. Now
Yeah.
there were scandals about some things that he did
Mm-hmm.
wrong, he
Yeah.
didn't do
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But in the same token, there's always that theory, better to be with the devil you know than the angel
No,
you
that.
don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but I would believe that these are signals to tell the Liberian people that you can still get it right.
You can get it right.
I'm not against President Weah. Had he done what he's supposed to do within those first 5 years,
Yeah.
can he make a turnaround? I doubt it. I was singing this song 3 years ago, and we're here now in his fifth year, about to wrap it up. I think he's comfortable. I think he's sitting pretty. He's sitting
Yeah.
pretty, so pretty, to the point that if he's gonna run again, it's only because the people around him are
Telling
forcing
him.
him, because
Yeah.
they're still, vicariously living their dreams through him.
Hmm.
And if he's smart enough, he will give it up. He will give it up.
I agree.
I'll be honest with you.
He has
6
to
years of the wealth he's attained,
accumulate it,
yeah,
ill-gotten
uncontested.
wealth. Yeah.
I think he should give it up,
Yeah.
because, quite frankly, these are the little signals. The little signals in these by-elections. It happened 2020,
Hmm.
and again,
And now 2022 again, he has
if it
gotten a
happens,
repeat. Yeah.
if it happens again,
Mhm.
uh,
You
I
know.
think in itself would be a signal. But let me emphasize this. Last Friday, Gerald Limek, Matthew
Yeah.
P.I. was here, former press secretary,
Hmm.
and I asked him the question of, with these other folks that are crossing carpet from the opposition to the ruling party, the five people who cross over, the Lord makers, he said it doesn't matter, because
I agree.
oftentimes when you see these people cross over, they're only taking themselves to that party. They're not taking the constituencies, they're not taking the voters, they're not taking the supporters. And accordingly, there were money that changed hands for
Obviously.
them to cross over.
Mhm.
Some people speculated 30 grand per person come over.
Wow.
But he was saying that, what difference does it make? Are you going over for the 30 grand? Because you could still be on the other side and make the same impact. Now, he also emphasized something that I didn't look at it from that perspective until he said it, that even people who are in the opposition are so gullible and vulnerable that they don't take any national stance on any issue that is paramount to the growth of the country.
Oh yeah.
So they're
Hmm.
just ceremonious candidate in these seats. So whether they
Absolutely.
cross over or whether they stay there, they have no impact.
I agree.
And then he, mentioned a guy like Maurice Ntuma,
Yes,
who
Situma,
is a compromiser. So
Situma, Johnson Guaiglo, and the list
yeah,
goes on. You know.
so I think, again, they can take all the senators from one side and put them on the other side to the CDC. They're still gonna have an uphill battle to fight, because remember, in our forms of government, in our branches of government, historically, the presidency always, is at the top of the
Of
three
course.
branches.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So I really have not seen where any impact has been made by the opposition compared to a country like America, when the presidency is minor in representation in the legislature. Then they
Yeah.
have to, bargain, do the
You
bargain
got a
chip.
bagging,
Yeah, but in Liberia, you ain't got much to bargain, because obviously the president is always like dictate. the course
The over
of
you have
yeah,
an overpowerful executive.
executive branch.
Yeah,
So I don't think it will make
and and
any
but
difference.
what I was saying, Volcano, I said to myself, hey, if I have political or if I have political intention, Volcano, I would rather give it a second thought. I'm telling you, into this Liberia, from what I have seen, obtained in Lofa today, and what happened in 2020 December, what happened to the CDC, Mr. Shelton, nowadays you you cannot be carried away by 10 hours. Oh, this man is a candidate. He's going to Tumpo Village today, and you see hundreds of people coming there. You say, oh, well, I think I'm going to do well. You will be missing out on a lot because all those people that will come to that place, they're not coming there because they support you. They are coming because they heard that, hey, Mr. Shelton will be giving out some free food. Mr. Shelton will be giving out some free money. They come and get their share. On election day, they decide. And now what happened in Lofa today?
And sometimes
Look,
just a curiosity. It's just a
just the
curiosity.
curiosity, they want to know
Yeah.
who this guy
Who
is.
this guy is, and Liberian like to crowd pool,
Yes.
One thing, everybody shows up, but they shows up. They rather show up with different
Different
intentions.
intentions.
They got
Yeah.
different
Mhm.
viewpoints.
Yeah.
And but let's come back to the drawing board here, Moses. When you look
Yeah.
at stuff like this, and these things going to start to manifest, and they're going to fester, and they're going to start to build up
Yeah.
come next year. How do you see the climate for the national elections in Liberia?
Very good question you asked. And it's going to be competitive and it has to be managed well. If not, we may have problem. And this is where I'm coming from. Prior to today's election, I saw some of the unprofessionalism exhibited by some media institutions. I saw journalists sampling the views of potential voters in Lofa and asking the people on camera to tell them who would they be voting for. I also saw the Deputy Director General at the Liberia Broadcasting System in an interview with Chief Taylor of FOIA, and the Deputy Director General was supposed to know better as an administrator. When you sit in that position, it means that you are seasoned broadcaster. And this guy was on camera asking the local official to tell him who he was going to vote for. How do you do that?
So
When you do
so,
that,
so clarify this quick.
yeah,
Was there a wrong question to say who you voting for?
absolutely, it was wrong, Volcano.
Okay, so
A couple of
explain.
things, a couple of things will happen, right?
Okay,
He made a man to tell him that hey, he was voting for this gentleman who got 54 votes.
yeah, Momo.
Cyrus Momo, yeah. And the man said, his Momo is my supporter. Now, saying that, do you know that when you local official, the expectation is that you work with the government, right?
Yeah,
And the CDC had a position. This a man would just receive what? An SUV, motorbike
allegedly,
from George Weah,
you're not sure.
allegedly. No, but he did. He's one of the lawmakers. He benefited. So George Weah then heard this man saying that, hey, you are going to vote for somebody against their interests. They may not come to say, hey, bring the motorbike, but for future collaboration, the government will say that man is not one of us. The ordinary people that they ask similar question, especially the current security situation in Liberia where people are going missing, those people endanger the safety of those people that they ask that question. It is my right to decide to vote for Volcano, but it is not anyone respond, and no one can make me to tell them who am I going to vote for on camera. That's why they say what secret ballot. If it is meant, if it was intended to be public, then when you go to vote, you do it openly. This is a secret ballot. So to endanger the safety of those people, I'm saying this to say that we need to do a lot of training around that. The media needs training. Journalists need to be training in terms of election coverage. And that should begin with ELBC. If I were George Weah, that deputy director general of ELBC, I would let you go. That was unprofessional. He compromised professionalism. I don't know he was doing it deliberately to support the CDC, but what he did was wrong. So there got to be a lot of training on that. And our national security people too need to be trained. You saw the number of police officers that show up in Lofa. You saw what happened to Yeke Koluba. Our people need what? Tolerance, political tolerance. I may disagree with Volcano, but we are not enemy. And you saw how they attacked Yeke Koluba. We're just talking about what? By-election. We're not talking about the general and presidential. So that's what I'm coming from. We need a lot of work on that. Other than that, 2023 will be chaotic. That's what I see.
So journalists have a stake in the matter, particularly
Significant.
when it comes to the way they put forth questions.
Yes.
And I think I'm trying to rather understand it from your perspective
Yeah.
and see your lens from where you're coming from. And because most of our people are ignorant to the fact that they will quickly answer
Yes.
that question. You know, say, oh yeah, I'm voting for Kotima, I'm voting for Jala, you know. So you're saying that journalists should not put
You
people's
shouldn't
lives
ask
at
questions
risk
like that.
by
Yeah.
asking those kinds of questions because
No. You
you
can't
know
tell.
of the
You can't.
level of ignorance of our people,
Yeah,
it
ignorance.
would not be safe for them.
I saw
And
a number of them. I saw a number of people answering on camera. I will vote for this person. I will vote for that person.
but okay,
Because
so let's come
those
back.
people responded out of ignorance. They didn't know what they were doing.
But let's come back to the drawing board.
Yes.
What if I wore my Canada T-shirt to the polling station and the journalist saw it on me and said, oh, so I see you voting for Momo.
No, even it would still be wrong to say that. By me
He wearing
worrying,
the T-shirt. But why would he be
by
wearing
me,
Momo T-shirt to go to the pool?
no, in fact, Mr. Shorten, it would be wrong. Like we said earlier, these people show up to benefit. I could be wearing Momo a t-shirt and still going to vote for Volcano. So you don't just see me with Momo t-shirt. You say, oh my man, yeah, now I see that you for Momo, you voting for him. No, that would be wrong. The thing is secret ballot, my man.
but okay.
The thing is secret ballot.
So I'm trying to listen, this is a good conversation, and we're going to expand on this conversation down the road. Let's just say 20,000 people wore CDC t-shirt with Joe Weah on it, and all of them vote for Bwaga.
Yeah.
But by the fact that Joe Weah saw 20,000 people with
He
t-shirt,
assumed that other people are going to vote for him. Yeah. And now what happened to the CDC today again in Lofa? They spent a lot of money. Why you think Findabono and other people were down there? They carried the ATM. And they were disappointed. You know, Thomas Fowler was building road. You know, I know tonight.
but even
it's a
in
terrible
the
night
roads
for
that
him.
we built, one picking condemned the road, the picking from the village, the picking said, but look at it, it's the car pounding or just break. All the road was just cracking. They even put correct steel inside.
But
Eh,
I know when they were building the roads, the people say, "Yeah, you know what? It's time for us to benefit. Let them bring it."
yeah.
And that's what happened. You can't do that. What they did was not, done with a good intent. What Liberia needs from the CDC is what good governance for Canada. We want
But those
selfless
are the
people.
things that that make you really
Yeah, good
comfortable
governance.
to the point where you can
Yeah,
say, okay,
yeah,
because people judge you on your track record,
mhm,
you know.
yeah.
To say that we hasn't done anything in Liberia, I would be,
It would be wrong to say that.
yes, it would be absolutely wrong. To say that he has not had good intention for some of the things he's done, I would still be wrong. There were some good intentions, but the impulsivity to put forth these things were all economic calculation,
Oh
the
yes,
financial backing,
yeah,
you know. To say that we are doesn't mean good totally for Liberia, I would say no. He does mean some good, but he's being ill advised or he has not taken the initiative to take ownership of his presidency, of his
yeah,
office, and lead the country as per the way the country should be led. I think that's
yeah,
where all of these problems are coming from. He's reneged all of his presidential responsibility to people around him to the point that, it's like he's just ceremonious. And
yeah.
that's the risk
And
factor.
and I agree with what you said, Volcano. And the reason why Mr. Weir is performing like that is that he's grossly incompetent. He doesn't understand anything about what governance is because
So you think
as
in these 5 years, he's still
he
he's
has
still
not he has not been able to demonstrate to the world. He has not been able to demonstrate to you and I that he's a leader. How do you lead a nation, especially at a critical time like this for Canada, when the world is faced with what? Global economic crisis. This man never utters a word to Liberians. When was the last time you talked to Liberians about the situation concerning the hiking crude oil prices, the gasoline crisis, the COVID crisis, the current road fund situation in Liberia? When has he ever spoken? When has he ever spoken about the current situation at the University of Liberia? When has he taken that leadership role to say, hey, you can work for government and you expect us to pay you two salaries for being at the same place at the same time? Everything he tells you, say, go to Miguel. It is Miguel, it is Samuel Chue, it is Jefferson Koji, a complete novice. These are the people who make the decision for Mr. George Weah, and he follows. These are things that when we talk about it, so, you guys are overly critical of George Weah. We say this thing not because we hate Mr. Weah, but we say them because Mr. George Weah underperforms every day. I listened to you the other night. When last has George Weah come to tell Liberian, look, this is the position of government concerning this particular situation? Have you heard him? When last did he ever travel abroad to come and tell Liberia, look, I went to this international conference. This is the position that Liberia has taken.
no
When was the
status
last time?
report.
Eh?
No status
No
report.
status report. So with such a huge underperformance, and the man is still asking for another 6 years. How do you give this man another 6 years? Eh? Tell me,
And
Volcano.
I think again, like I said earlier, it stemmed from the fact that those folks who are around him,
Mhm.
who came to power with nothing and have tasted the gravy, they want to finish all the meat from the soup because they're not taking some chicken bone out, chicken thigh. They won't go for the shrimp now. They won't go for the steak in the gravy. So they will continue to influence him. They'll tell you, Baku, my man, you can win
yeah,
the thing again. The people are
yeah,
still in love with you.
yeah.
But I tell
And
you, when and again, oh, this is what I wanted to bring up. What does this, apart from everything else that's been said about the CPP and the disintegration, Moses, and all of that,
yeah,
if Galama,
Fatima,
Kotiman,
yeah,
Galaba Kotiman
yeah.
wins
The
this
election.
seat.
He's a now senator. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. What does it? What signal does it send again? Does it rejuvenate any group of opposition, parties to come back together
Oh yeah,
and say, listen, we fell apart because of differences and the fighting, but I think we can regroup
yeah.
because we still got this thing. Does this provide that impetus for future discussion since we're around the corner toward our national elections? You think?
Absolutely, absolutely. Volcano, you and I will follow what happened in Lofa. Benuna Euro was there. Darius Delon, a critical voice, was in Lofa. Ball child, Jonathan Sogwe, another critical voice in the Liberian Senate, he was in Lofa. All the prominent opposition figures were in Lofa. Ome Joseph Boaka was there. The theme was what? We need a victory. We need a victory to prove to George Weah that we can beat him come 2023. Uh, uh, the former superintendent victory today, yes, it's a direct victory for
But
him,
but let's
but
not let's
it is
not
also
declare
a
this victory
victory
now.
for the
Moses, be careful here. Moses, be
yeah,
careful.
okay, okay. But based on the data, okay,
But be
okay,
careful.
for
Be
now,
careful.
okay, for
The
now,
national the
based
National
on the data,
Elections Commission hands are not clean, so be
yeah,
careful.
okay, yeah, okay. So, tentatively, we can say, based on what we are reading, what is being reported, that hey, whatever victory that is to come, if Mr. Kortima gets that victory, it will be a direct victory for him, but it will also be a direct victory for the opposition because these people work together. So now, what's going to happen come 2023? The same people that you saw in Lofa will come and say, hey, this thing is about Liberia. We can't allow this man to go for another 6 years. Allowing George Weah to go for another 6 years, we're dumping the future of our country because Mr. Weah is not up to the task. That would be the message. And if they do that cohesively, they can beat George Weah.
All right, Moses, we're at the intermission. Past the intermission, it's 8 o'clock here in
Yeah,
the issues
they
room,
can beat
Eastern
him.
Standard Time,
People can beat
and
him.
it's midnight. Moses, it's midnight in Liberia, and
Yeah,
honestly, we here for another 30 minutes.
yeah.
We'll be opening the lines now. We want to encourage you to call. Just call so you can participate in the conversation here tonight. 404-272-2808. Again, 404-272-2808. The number is posted right there on the screen. Uh, just pick up the phone call and tell us what you think about the conversation and what you know about the elections out there. The Issues Room is an alternative media, social media, virtual platform here where we discuss the things that matter, but particularly Liberia and the Black diaspora. We cover any issue that we find of human interest. So,
Mhm.
Moses Sandy Volcano Shelton here. We're discussing the bi-senatorial elections in
In Lofa.
Lofa County, and as it stands, Galamai Kotimai is somehow in the lead, followed by
Said it pretty well.
Councillor Joseph Jala, and
Yeah,
then followed by uh, Mr. Cyrus Momo.
yeah.
So that's where things are. So we want to encourage you. The lines open. Call us. Um,
And and
so we
and
can talk.
and and, and Volcano, while we in Lofa, I'm ready. saddened by the underperformance of, Professor Sumokupi. You know, he was in the Senate before, right? And
but
based on the data, yes.
but these are the things I call greed. These guys, all the money they got for them to do something, and do something. The impact you didn't make the first time,
Why?
you think you're gonna make it the second time? What's wrong with these people?
Look,
And Moses, you coming, but let me quickly say
yeah,
this.
go ahead. Yeah, go
I listened to
ahead.
Leo Johnson, Yapulus Johnson from Canada.
Mhm.
Last night I followed his conversation, his discourse on the dual citizenship. And this
Yeah,
young man, profoundly intelligent guy, he had a lot of things to say, a whole lot of things to say. And I think I want to invite him here in the issues room so we can
absolutely.
we can we
I would
can
love
further
for us to
discuss
have him.
this.
Yeah,
But
Wilson.
but the guy and the very thing I've preached over the years that the legislature is the problem for Liberia.
Yeah,
It's not the executive and the judiciary, it is the
agree.
legislator. Those
Absolutely.
legislators who are in that country, they are the problem. People who are greedy, only two or three of them, okay, but they still can eat anyway. But the rest of those human beings don't give a crap about the
Absolutely.
well-being of the people, the places they represent, the people who
Absolutely.
stand in the line to vote for them. They don't even give a crap,
Yeah, no,
and they're the
no.
problems, and they're the ones sitting there to make bills to deprive native-born Liberians of their citizenship only because they took on citizenship in another country
Yeah, yeah,
based on the circumstances that they faced. And
yeah.
some of them, they're so hypocritical. They're holding dual passports in our Senate, in our House of Representatives, and
And they will
enjoying
still vote
all of that,
against you. Yeah, yeah. They
but they're
vote
making
against us.
laws,
Mhm.
against so I just wanted to say that some of them been there already and they didn't make any impact,
And they won't go back again.
and they want to go back. So I was just laying the premise for your Kupi conversation. So continue.
Yeah, and just before I even talk about the Kupi situation, right? Since you were talking about the lawmakers, I agree with you 100%. Uh, Volcano, if you were to ask me today if I had the opportunity of going in the legislature, I would not want to go there. You know why? It is difficult to succeed in the legislature. It's normal game. You can have all the intelligence. You know the issue. You can articulate the issue. When it comes to vote, if you don't have that number, all the intelligent people will not prevail. I covered the legislature for years. When I was a reporter for LBS, covering the legislature, Volcano, I sat in session. I saw lawmakers who voted on bills that they never read. I saw lawmakers that, for the fact that they knew that Volcano Shelton was a smart man, they always sat with Mr. Shelton. Whatever position Mr. Shelton took, it was the position that they took. So it means that if Mr. Shelton was in the wrong, they voted also for the wrong. You see how difficult it is to succeed in the legislature? If you were to talk to Darius Dillon today on one-on-one, he will tell you, say, man, I'm disappointed of being in this house. If you were to talk to Mr. Shogbe, he will tell you similar thing.
And
A
stop there,
lot of the
stop there,
intelligent guys, yeah.
stop there, because many of these guys went in that house with good intention.
Oh,
They
yes.
were hoping that they will be the instruments of change,
Mhm.
and then you hit this brick wall of
Nothing you can
completely
do.
corrupt-minded people.
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
It's not about,
Look at some of the confirmation that these people, the people they
they
confirm.
get bribe. They
Look at
get
that.
bribe. They get bribe. When you're
Somebody who can work in the
when
interest of the country.
when you are nominated, I cover the legislature. I'm telling you, when you are nominated and your records are sent to the committee, the members of the committee say, "Oh man, but where's the man saying?" You got to bribe them. You bribe them, you facing them after the whole thing. If you bribe them good, you get clear. If you don't bribe them good, they deny you.
So we're in a conversation. So let's backtrack quickly.
Yeah,
So the Senate committee on confirming that person is
confirmation.
saying what the man is saying. And you know
Yeah.
why they're saying what the man is saying?
Oh, they're looking for money,
Because,
man.
yeah, I
Yeah,
understand, but
yeah,
because they have too many extracurricular activities that they have to pay for.
yeah. Hmm.
They've invested so much in the trivialities of life,
Yeah.
be it whatever it is, multiple issues that they have to pay for. So they cannot sustain without bribery. They
Of
cannot
course.
sustain without corruption.
They live
They
beyond
cannot
their
sustain
income. The people live beyond
and
their income.
yes,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the money, the income
Mm-hmm.
is it may not, it may sound like a lot of money, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not sufficient to manage those extra or take care of those extracurricular activities that they've put in,
Yeah,
themselves in. And so this becomes that cycle of corruption that I don't know how we're going to break that, but it's possible
yeah.
with the right
And
president, with the right
is
mindset,
is
with the right
is
accountability in place, with it,
yeah
with
when
a, let me finish, Moses,
uh,
with people holding, with people holding themselves accountable and other people holding them accountable. All of those things will help us because we can change the status quo in Liberia.
absolutely.
It's just the
Mhm.
mind should be willing. The people should have the desire to be patriots. Those in power, shouldn't go there because they want to amass wealth. They shouldn't go there because they want to be uh, uh, rich, extraordinarily rich, or they shouldn't be too much involved in extracurricular activities that will lead them down that path of corruption. But it's possible. So when a whole committee is saying what the man is saying, that tells you all of them together
Of
are
course, they
still
are
are
together.
in the
Yeah,
boat of corruption.
yeah. What the man is saying, once your resume is submitted, they got people coordinating between your office and the committee. They tell you, look, this is what you need to bring. If you don't have that money, you don't get clear. Saying Moses Sandy said it. They can hold me in contempt. I covered the legislature for years and I saw what happened in there. So many lawmakers for Canada. This is why happened. Even the executive, when the executive introduces certain bill and the executive has interest in that bill, the executive sends money to the legislature to pass that. They don't read those bills. You have a lot of guys in the legislature who are brazenly corrupt, who are grossly incompetent. Some of them can barely read at a sixth grade level.
And not just read, but to comprehend what you're reading.
Comprehend. So if you have someone who cannot read at a sixth grade level and you send a bill that has about 50 pages, what time does he have to read that? The special assistant that he has in his office is also a high school graduate. How is that high school graduate going to explain to the man what needs to be done? And these are the people that were only looking forward to the brown envelope. So the executive signs the brown envelope and they vote upon it. When it's time to vote, either no, either yes or no. That's it. A lot of the guys votes on issues that they have never read. They don't know. You ask the man after voting, what did you vote on? He cannot articulate it because he never read it. What I'm saying to you, ask Jackson Seaton. He was in the legislature with me. Ask Malcolm Joseph. He will tell you. Ask G. Von Smith. We were at the legislature and several other reporters that were there. We saw these things happen several times. I'm telling you.
So now let
Yeah.
me let me throw it back at you.
Yeah.
During your time as a legislative reporter and you saw these malfeasance, did you report it
Yeah.
or you were scared?
A very good question. Very good question. There were times that some of the lawmakers in the legislature, and again, you can speak to some of my colleagues. They had problem with me. They said the ERBC guy. They always used to say the ERBC guy because some of those things when I saw them, when I went to report, I reported. You know, when I went to report, I reported. I had a situation before. A nominee went to the legislature. This guy was Solicitor General. He's so good. I think he's deceased now. You remember the former Solicitor General?
Was it TC
Uh,
Goo?
Sigo. And let me explain that to you, Volcano. He went for confirmation hearing. The typical thing I'm telling you about, he bribed a way through. And then after everything, he invited the legislative press corps to the office of the director of communication. He invited us there because he wanted to bribe us. So we went. When we got there, what I'm telling you, I Taina, he was the director of communication then. Malcolm Joseph, Jackson Seaton, and the other guys. We went to the office of the director of communication. We got there and we had a conversation. Then he said, "Oh well, gentlemen, I call you people over here." And because when he went for confirmation hearing, he said some things, and some of the lawmakers disagree with him. They humiliated him, and he did not want that in the public domain. So he wanted us to compromise that. So he said, "Oh well, anything we say, he was willing to roll." So everybody there sitting, and the guys said to him, "Oh well, we have one person here from the government radio, and that's Moses Sandy." And so everyone on the turned to me. So Moses, what do you have to say? I said, "Well, look, as far as we are concerned at ELBC, what we saw is what we will report." Volcano, when I said that, the counselor said, "Oh well, LBS has spoken. So there's no need for this conversation anymore." And so, "Oh, Moses, that's what you see." I said, "Man, whatever you guys choose to do is up to you. But we saw as a entity is what we will report." And that's just what I did. What I saw is what I reported. I did not take money from anybody. No.
All right, so listen to this.
Mhm.
The chairman of the United Party, Amin Modad,
Yeah.
says we have refocused and rebranded. We will rescue Liberia.
I hope
Okay,
so. Yeah.
so that's coming from him.
Yeah.
Then Jerolimek Pia, Mazi Pia, who is openly, a UP guy, he said,
Yeah.
The God of the heavens never disappoints. He shows up when you think all is lost.
Those are
Then,
powerful statements.
then
Yeah.
Henry Costa says, Lofa County, we thank you plenty. So people are posting, people are posting. So I think this guy seemed to be uh the next senator.
I'm telling
Hopefully.
you. I'm telling you. And what I said to you earlier, Mr. Shelton, Mr. Weir and the CDC have received what? Two defeats since 2020. And that is enough to tell
But
them that all is not well.
but you know what? I mean, the way Gerald Limek was here last Friday with me, and I
Yeah.
could see it in the guy's face how confident he was. And I
Yeah.
even put it to him, and he said, "Listen, my man, when you wake up on Wednesday morning, you will know that Uh, so here's another person here. Thank you, Lofa. We now move into 2023. So that's Darren DeLong. That's Darren DeLong. DeLong is saying, thank you, Lofa. We now move into 2023.
Yeah.
So the man in let's focus now at 2023.
2023. I said, George Weah and his people need to panic. because they have received two defeats, two
irrespective of the
powerful
ATM
defeats.
machine.
Yeah, they took the ATM machine, they took the road crew, they took Finda Bondo, the executive, the chief of protocol staff
So
or
then
whatever.
Kev Hassan need to be scared now. Kev said Baka need to be scared the way he said he leaving from Lofa. So that Kev Hassan need to be scared now, right?
Yeah, but these people need to go back to the drawing table. That is shameful. That is embarrassing
Oh,
for.
here's another one there. They won't say they are in search of T5 to provide sedition. They said they're waiting for him.
Is it the
He
money
spent
the
all that
metro
money.
get?
Yeah, yeah. Men are watching.
But look, this is serious, bro, man. Volcano now do not be carried away by the crowd. From what I saw happen in Lofa today, I said to myself, hey, if I have money to run for any elected office, I will not be carried away by the crowd. Until that result or until the results are announced, do not be carried away.
And then the Costa show says never you underestimate the power of tradition.
I'm
Lofa,
telling
my
you.
respect.
Yeah,
I mean, the people are bowing to the old man. Waka, my man.
yeah. And and
All the
and
women.
and and I think Volcano, one of the reasons why the UP won is the way the former Minister of Defense was treated by the CDC.
Mm.
Volcano, you and I will follow what happened to the reporter missing money. When Mr. Weir came to the presidency, his administration agreed, based on prior arrangement, that Mr. Samuka was not going to be held accountable. Government is continuity. And they turned around and prosecuted this man. This is the same government that came to power, took what? $25 million of the people's money. And what did the president do? He put up what? 47 condominium on a shady condition.
Yeah, but
Mop up
Moses,
exercise.
that story is not new.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm telling you about how the double standard of the administration.
It's still not new.
They
We
did
said
that.
this over and
So
over.
so
So
the people
I
look
think what we
for
should
the
close with now
yeah.
is, again, as I said, and I think the writings on the wall, all of
It's
these
on the
notable
wall.
people within the UP wouldn't have made these assertions here if they didn't think that they were comfortably winning.
Yeah,
But why it is true that we have talked about all of these things that this government in power has done,
yeah.
and regarding, the way they treated this situation, do we think that the burden now is on Galapai Kotima to rescue himself if there was anything he did in the county
Oh yeah.
regarding poor leadership as a
Yeah.
superintendent,
Yeah.
uh, to now work hard for the people of Lofa because they put him there,
I agree.
irrespective of everything
I
and
agree.
irrespective of his imperfection. Let's look at him as the candidate now.
Yeah.
What is it? What should they expect of him, and what is he expected to give them back as a result of getting him into this position?
Performance. That's what he has to do. He has to perform to the best of his ability. He has to put he has to put Lofa first in Liberia's national interest. With that, he will win the support of the people of Lofa, and he will win the support of all Liberians. Once he put Liberia's interest first, not doing like the CDC, where you come, you start building houses for yourself. No. You focus on the good of the country. You work with other national leaders in advancing the cause of Liberia. Just as his colleagues went there to campaign for him, let him follow the good thing those people are doing, then he will win the hearts of the people of Liberia. But if he doesn't do that, then he's also going to be what, another failure too.
And the reason I
Today,
ask this question is because
mhm,
the same thing Gerald Limek said, and I
mhm,
keep referencing him because it is, he
yeah,
came there with a good school of thought, and I
yeah,
learned a lot as a result of that
yeah, you
conversation.
did a great job.
Um, the reason I ask the question is because if he goes to the house, because sometimes these guys go to the house for their own ulterior motive. They go
Yeah,
there believing that, oh, I'm here now, so uh, I don't care. I'm here for 9 years.
mhm,
My brother, 9 years is a long time to get rich,
of course,
particularly when your hand is dabbing in everything and you go there with the intent of getting everything
rich.
for yourself.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So then that seat will become occupied for no for with delivering nothing compared when it was not there and the people were still doing well with the 1.5 months that the seat was empty.
yeah,
So these are the kinds of testimonies when people have put their efforts and energy behind you as a candidate. You want to look back. The scorching hot sun today in Liberia was no joke.
yeah.
Come to
I know
think
people
about it.
went in that sun.
Yeah. Or whether it rained full time today, people went in the rain. Whatever the climatic condition was, when people put the trust in you by those long hours standing out there just to ink your picture as the winner, you don't take that for granted.
You can't let them down. I agree, 100%. Yeah, 100% right, Volcano. You cannot. And to piggyback on what you said, that's the disappointment that most Liberians today have with George Weah. Most Liberians who voted for George Weah knew that he was not up to the task, but they voted for him because then they erroneously believe that Mr. Weah is a nationalist.
And that he was going to use his common layman sense. The
Yeah,
people knew the boy didn't know book.
they
All that
knew
thing he
that.
said, well, they say, I know book, I where I learn. I got
Yeah.
master's degree, this and that. They still knew he didn't know book.
He didn't know, but
But
they
what
said
did he
this man
believe
is
with
a
his common sense?
nationalist.
Common sense.
Yeah, the people said the man is a nationalist
The man got a
because
country at
what?
heart.
Yeah, you are moving Lone Star here and there. So it's not giving the opportunity. Now you made him president. What did he do? He start diverting resources to his personal use, refusing to even tell you what is happening to your country. So if Mr. Cortiman wants to win the hearts of Liberians and the people of Lofa, he has to be a nationalist. It cannot be about himself.
Because irrespective of Barker coming from Lofa County or any other person coming from Lofa County,
Mhm.
Kodiman's influence in the county now can help catapult
The old
those
man,
political and those political institutions that are outside of the CDC.
absolutely.
You know,
Mhm.
um, again, Moses, I tell you, we got to be here for 2023. We
Oh,
got
we
to be
have
here
to.
for
We
2023.
have to. And
You
and,
know,
and this time, 2023 coverage, we're going to be very big by then. I can tell you, by God's grace, we're going to be very big. And we will put boots on the ground. That election will be widely covered. Yeah.
I want to thank you all for watching tonight. Emmanuel Jackson, my brother from New England. Thank you for coming in. Thomas Awaji, always good to have you in from Atlanta, Georgia. Mapla Nikia from Pennsylvania. Dawkins Riches. We say thank you so much for showing up. Everyone who didn't comment but who are behind the scenes watching. We want to encourage you to share our page, share the link, tell people about us. We're growing again. Unfortunately, we had to shut down our other page based on issues, but we're growing again, and hopefully we'll get there. My name is Volcano Shelton Moses. Sandy, we've been covering the senatorial by elections of Lofa County, and we don't know definitively yet who has won. But from the preliminary counts at the polling station, it seems as though the former superintendent
as well.
Galamar Kotipai, Galaba Kotimai is
Yeah.
in the driver's seat, followed by Councillor Joseph Jala. Hopefully by tomorrow we should know something, and so we want to thank you for being there with us. We'll be back here Friday with a continuation of our broadcast, but then we'll be at the 71st edition. We say thank you, Moses.
Yeah.
Let's call it a night, bro.
Definitely. It's always a pleasure. This was indeed a very interesting discussion on Liberia, and we hope what happened in Lofa will be a lesson for our national leaders. Thank you, Volcano. Look forward to seeing you on Friday. Enjoy.